We get 50 free new summons, and I am excited to break down what that means for you and your team, regardless of where you're at in the game. I'm Gacha J. This is your home for Gacha news, analysis, and reviews. Let's go. This video is going to be more on the ranty side. There's a lot of things I want to cover in this, and it's really hard for me to formulate it into a very specific linear path. The 50 free summons event is super interesting because it doesn't just give you 9 different banners to choose from, which is absurd, by the way, but it also gives you all of their weapons to choose from as well, which you really should take into consideration. This is not a video on which banner to spend your crystals on. I already have a video about that, and it's right here. This video specifically is about your free summons, and if you watch that other video, you know exactly why I'm only talking about your free summons here. So let's take this from the perspective of a free-to-play new player. Day one, you see all these events going on, what should you do? Well, firstly, congrats, you're guaranteed to get at least a 3-star unit, because you're guaranteed still to get your first 3-star within 30 of both sides. So that means if you did 30 rolls on character, you'd be guaranteed to get a character that's a 3-star. And then if you did 30 rolls on the weapon side, you would also be guaranteed for that as well. So if you get 50 free, that just means you just need one to get one of both. If you're brand new to the game, that's what you should be thinking about using all your 50 on. For the specific character that you should go after, I recommend Future Princess. She's the easiest character, in my opinion, to start the game out with because she offers tankiness, attack, maneuverability, and healing, and a little bit of CC. She kind of does it all, but not at the degree that you're looking for specific team comps, but you're really far away from thinking about that anyway. So just go Future Princess and have a ton of fun. So for you as a new player, that's Future Princess. And then on the weapon side, her weapon, Liberator. If you can get both of those as you start an account, congratulations. You're really set for the foreseeable future. Future Princess is very hard to take out of the meta at the current state. She will probably be relevant for a very long time. Now let's get into those of you that have basically cleared through chapter 7, which I no longer consider the early game and is now considered the mid game. I have a beginner's guide breaking exactly down why I think that and what you should be doing prior to that point. At this point, you really need to be thinking about a few specific things. Firstly, in my opinion, is hero crystals. With the release of the training room, hero crystals become abundantly more clear. Why? Because you need to get 3 to the max limit break to be able to get your 4th unit to the max limit break full awakening for basically for literally free. Super important that your priority is to get 3 nat 3s that synergize together to the max limit break. So if you are in the mid game to late game and you're not at the very late game thinking about very specific, how can I get just a little bit of an edge? If you're thinking about anything else, I highly recommend you to just forego the weapons completely. Use your mileage on the weapon of your choice later on. And for now, worry about those hero shards because those things are super important for your progression. And each 10 pack should bring you about 24. So with 5 of these 10 packs, that should get you about 120 hero crystals, which will get any of them to any of your units to the next tier as long as they're not at the max. That in itself is super valuable, and you can target a hero of your choice. Now, when we look at the list, we can see right here all of their different mights and their tanks, which to me is just the statistical reference of how tanky they are and how strong they are in terms of a DPS. These numbers do not specifically calculate their utility, so please factor that in separately, but it does take into you can kind of mix and match what you think is best for where you're at. I do recommend a few things for you to consider though. Say you have someone like Bari. I think a lot of people with Bari, even I've heard from somebody in my Discord as early as this morning of them saying, I have Bari, should I be focused on going Future Princess in these roles? Future Princess looks like she's going to be in the meta for a long time. And though those two things are true, you need to realize something about Bari and Future Princess. Both of them get their max value, which I guess all characters do, but they do not function very well in your support roles. And what I mean by support roles is anything that you specifically aren't controlling, anything that does not get to use their weapon skill. Both Bari and Future Princess relies so heavily on their weapon skill that it's really hard to find ways to synergize the two together without taking a huge drop off in performance of the other. So if you're a Bari user or someone that really relies on your use of weapon skill to get the most out of your currently strongest unit, there are better options for you than Future Princess. I think Agma and Mia are going to be in the meta for a very long time, though they do have the highest chance of the 4 top units, which are Future Princess, Agma, and Nari. Of those two, Mia and Ogma have the highest potential to potentially be removed from the meta just because they are so critical to their role currently. They are the prototypical healer and they are the prototypical tank that if anybody comes around with higher stats than them, they basically just get replaced. But that doesn't mean they're out completely. It just means that they're out for now. Whereas Future Princess and Nari are a little harder to remove from the meta, mainly because of the way that their passive skills work with Defense Shred on Nari, and then whatever you want to classify Future Princess passives as, healing, debuff, CC, damage, invulnerability. What do you call that? I think what I'm really trying to say here is if you see Ogma and Mia as somebody that you can throw into your lineup and see an tremendous boost from because you really need that prototypical tank and Craig doesn't fit into your lineup, or you really need that prototypical healer at all, I think those two should be two that you really look at right now. But if you have someone like your Craig that's fully built out, or you have one or the other in Ogma or Mia, I don't think you need the other to really progress far in the game. You do need both to be at the tip top of the current meta, but for the long-term sake of the meta, I don't think that you need both. I would really encourage you to think about Nari. Nari is a very strong attack-oriented champion that offers defense shred and gives you that ranged attack damage, which is super strong when paired with people like Garam or Bari. Honestly, Nari brings a lot to the table. I think between the four, you can make a pretty easy decision because you can't get it wrong. So with your free summons, I really encourage 99% of the game to only consider one of those four. Don't consider their weapons. Continue to focus on hero crystals unless you have 3 at max limit break. Keep rolling for those hero crystals. Even if you get dupes, who cares? That's great. Hero crystals are more valuable than weapons because eventually you can get weapons from mileage. And honestly, this gets you 50 mileage at minimum. So, hey, that's good for you. Now, lastly, if you're at in-game and you have all of these choices in front of you, you have the majority of these 9 banners and you don't know what to choose, you have all things at max limit break, it's probably time for you to consider weapons. If you're missing a specific weapon for a specific character that you're using and you don't have to worry about hero crystals anymore, that's the only time I would ever consider about weapon, and you already know which weapon you need. I still think that mileage is best used for weapons. I still 100% believe that, and I still think that the majority of your roles should go towards summoning heroes because there are a lot of really good 5-star unique weapons that aren't tied to a champion at this point in the game. So overall, if you're at that point in the game, I think you honestly know what you're looking for and you don't really need me to tell you. But for everybody else, I think I laid it out pretty clear. I'm Gacha J. Take care.